Something very serious has happened in the Vatican. Pope Francis was rushed to Gemelli Hospital in Rome after respiratory complications. At 88 years old, he is facing bilateral pneumonia and continues to receive high-flow oxygen therapy. Official sources assure that his condition is stable and improving, but the need for continuous treatments raises questions. While the Vatican strives to reassure the faithful, rumors about the pontiff's true health condition continue to circulate. What more could be happening behind the scenes of the Holy See? For centuries, dark prophecies have foretold the fall of the last pope and the collapse of the Catholic Church. Saint Malachy, Nostradamus, and Fatima seem to point to this very moment. And now, Francis, the 112th pope on the prophetic list, is on the brink. Coincidence? Or are these prophecies finally coming true? If you want to understand what might be about to happen and why the Vatican is on high alert, keep watching and like the video to help more people discover the truth. The evidence is frightening. Since the Middle Ages, some prophecies have been interpreted as signs of the decline of the Catholic Church. The most frightening thing is that, despite their completely different origins, they all describe a period of instability that would lead to the fall of the papacy and a transformation in the Vatican. The most famous of these prophecies was written by Saint Malachy, a 12th century Irish archbishop who, during a visit to Rome, is said to have had a vision of all the popes who would govern the church until its collapse. He recorded this vision in a list containing 112 names, each described with a short, enigmatic phrase. This document remained forgotten in the church's archives for centuries until it was rediscovered in 1595. Since then, it has been studied by historians and theologians. The most unsettling detail: Francis is the 112th and last pope on the list. According to the prophecy, after him, a leader called Peter the Roman would arise, who would govern during times of great tribulation, until the city of 7 hills will be destroyed. This city is Rome, the heart of the Catholic Church, suggesting that we are facing the possible end of the papacy as we know it. Some say this list may have been manipulated or misinterpreted over the centuries. However, recent events seem eerily aligned with this prediction. Francis may not be named Peter, but he has characteristics that fit the prophetic context. He is the first Jesuit pope, and the Jesuits have always been called the soldiers of Rome, as their mission was to protect the Catholic faith in times of crisis. Furthermore, his governance has been marked by strong internal opposition. For many, Francis is already a weakened pope, unable to unify the church amid the current turmoil. If Malachy's prophecy is correct, he could be the last before a change that could completely alter Catholicism. Another intriguing prophecy comes from Fatima, Portugal. In 1917, 3 children claimed to have received messages from the Virgin Mary. 2 of these secrets were revealed and came true. One spoke of World War II, and the other of the rise of communism in Russia. However, the third secret of Fatima has always been shrouded in mystery. The Vatican refused to disclose it for over 80 years, which fueled speculation that it contained something extremely grave. When it was finally revealed in 2000, the official version said the secret described a pope being attacked and a city devastated, something the church related to the assassination attempt on John Paul II in 1981. However, this explanation never fully convinced. Benedict XVI himself hinted that the real content of the secret had not been fully revealed. If the vision of Fatima really spoke of a pope falling and the destruction of Rome, could Francis be the leader mentioned in the prophecy? His health is deteriorating, his authority within the church is weakened, and the Vatican's institutional crisis seems more serious than ever, and the prophecies don't stop there. Nostradamus, the 16th century French astrologer, is said to have predicted historical events such as the French Revolution, the rise of Hitler, and even the September 11 attacks. And among his visions, some seem to connect directly to the fate of the Vatican. In one of his writings, Nostradamus stated that the Great Shepherd will be removed, and the Christian faith will enter into crisis. In another passage, he describes a pope fleeing Rome while the city faces a great conflict. The most curious thing is that Francis himself, in public statements, has admitted that he could resign and leave the Vatican if necessary. Was it just a casual comment, or does he already know something that has not been revealed to the public? The moment is tense for Rome. The city is in turmoil, with financial scandals and growing rejection of the church. The advance of secularism weakens its influence in the world, and Nostradamus' prophecy about a pope fleeing Rome may not be just a distant warning, but something that could become a reality soon. 3 prophecies, 3 different perspectives. but all pointing to the same scenario: a pope falling, a fragmented church, and a Vatican in crisis. If Malachy is right, Francis is the last. If Fatima is right, the church will face one of its greatest tragedies. If Nostradamus is right, the Vatican will be abandoned. And if the Vatican already knows what is to come, faced with all this, two options remain. Either these predictions are just exaggerated readings of normal events, or we are witnessing one of the greatest changes in the history of Christianity. If Francis resigns or passes away in the coming months, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Now, I want to know your opinion. Are these prophecies really coming true? Write in the comments below. Francis' departure could be the definitive turning point for the Catholic Church, and three main scenarios could unfold from this moment. Scenario 1. The last pope. The Vatican on the brink. What if Francis is the last pope with real power? Catholicism is facing a deep crisis. Churches are closing due to a lack of faithful and new priests. Religious vocations have dropped dramatically, and the Vatican itself has acknowledged that many dioceses may not have enough clergy to continue functioning. Moreover, abuse and corruption scandals have shaken the Church's credibility, driving millions away. In many countries, Catholicism is losing ground to other religions and secularism. Some theologians warn that the papacy may not last until the end of the 21st century. Leaked documents indicate that there are internal debates about changing the Church's power structure, which would mean the end of the papacy as we know it. If this happens, Francis will not be just another pope, but the last with real authority. The Vatican would cease to be a global spiritual power, giving way to a new era. Scenario 2. A Globalist Pope. The Church merging with other religions. What if the next pope is not just the leader of the Catholic Church, but a mediator among various religions? In recent years, the Vatican has been approaching other faiths in an unprecedented way. In 2019, Francis signed the document Human Fraternity, which declares the equality of all beliefs. In the same year, the Human Fraternity Center was inaugurated in Abu Dhabi, a space that brings together a church, a mosque, and a synagogue, symbolizing a new era of interreligious cooperation. Furthermore, the Vatican has been acting alongside organizations such as the United Nations and the World Economic Forum, participating in debates on climate change, economics, and immigration, issues that go far beyond religion. Will the next pope continue to be just the leader of the Catholic Church, or will he take on a broader role, representing a new global religious order? For some, this change would be the only way for the Church to remain relevant in the modern. For others, it would mean the definitive end of traditional Catholicism, transforming the Church into part of a globalist structure without its own identity. If this process continues, we will be witnessing the birth of a new world religion. Scenario 3. The Vatican and the New World Order, a global religious government. For centuries, the Vatican has maintained its sovereignty, influencing globals, politics without submitting to any government. But what if this scenario is about to change? Francis himself has expressed support for a global governance to address humanity's challenges. Furthermore, the Vatican has been actively involved in international forums on climate change, economics, and immigration, expanding its role. Could they be preparing for a new role within a larger global structure? Another curious point is that the Vatican has been selling historic properties and directing billions of euros to international investment funds. This movement suggests that the Church may be preparing for a major change, possibly ceasing to act as an independent religious institution to integrate into a broader global system. If this is true, the next pope may not be just a religious leader, but a mediator within a new global structure. The Church could become part of a unified governance system, where different religions would be under the same control, diluting its historical autonomy in favor of a centralized model. This would mean the end of the Catholic Church as an independent institution. If Francis is really the last pope, does this mean that the traditional papacy is coming to an end? Or has all this been planned for years, and is the Vatican merely preparing a silent transition to something much bigger? Saint Malachy prophesied the last pope. The third secret of Fatima spoke of a pope falling and a church in ruins. Nostradamus warned of the destruction of the Vatican and the pope's flight from Rome. For centuries, these predictions have been ignored. But what if we are seeing the signs before our very eyes? Are we just exaggerating? Or does the Vatican already know what will happen and is hiding something from the world? Comment below and share this video. The more people know about this historic moment, the closer we will be to the truth.